Yeah, so let's talk about that. It's the end of the year, and I think there's a lot of very productive things that can happen right before the end of the year. The one big one that we've been focused on is, I don't know if you guys have seen my social media posts, but like in our emails, but like we raised $7 million in the past 30 days for different deals, of which about 3 million was a depreciation play, right? People made more money than they thought they made this year. They need the tax deductions. They're full-time real estate professionals. And I just sent out an email with all caps that said depreciation. I don't need any more depreciation. I have all this rollover from last year. I have a ton from this year. And I have a deal up in Cleveland that we're closing. And so we got a cost seg study. Joe Virey, who's a legacy family member, owns a cost seg business, gave us a study that says, hey, you're going to get somewhere between $1.1 to $1.8 million of depreciation this year, year one, in this property. All right, it's about a $10 million property. That's after the phase out of accelerated depreciation and all that. It's like 60% this year or whatever. So we're gonna have about, let's just call it 1.5 million. The total raise is $3 million. So I created two different investor classes. The first investor class is a 5% preferred return with, for every $100,000 of investment, you get $100,000 of depreciation this year. And you get a little piece of equity that's worth about, I think it was like 40 grand or 50 grand or something like that for every $100,000 that you bring. And then over here, it was a 10% preferred return, no depreciation in 2024, same exact amount of equity, right? So one had a lower preferred return, but more depreciation. This one had a higher preferred return, no depreciation. I sent out the email looking for depreciation investors, but you know what happened? Somebody said, hey, can I invest in my IRA? Yes, but you can't get depreciation. So I took them from, even though I 1.5 million that I was trying to raise in depreciation money, I say a 401k or a self-directed IRA cannot take depreciation. Let me put you over here. I can pay a higher return. You couldn't use the depreciation anyways. You don't need it. And then and all of a sudden I start taking orders, right? I start asking people what they're looking for, and I give them the option. And there were some people who were like, I need depreciation, or I opened up the email because of depreciation, but I actually care more about the preferred return. I'd actually prefer a little bit higher of a return over here, or a little bit more equity, or a little bit more whatever, because I don't need or I'm not a full-time real estate professional, so I can't offset my earned income or whatever that looked like. But what happened was I was trying to raise $3 million of depreciation money, and I raised $7 million. Another $4 million on top of that, because I just initiated the conversation. It's an easy conversation to have. If you have properties right now that you need to raise money on, I would look at, talk to a cost seg study. They'll, in a day or two, they can get you an analysis of about how much depreciation you could get on that property this year. You don't have to finish the study. They'll just give you an estimate, and you can start it before the end of the year. It could actually be done just before the taxes are filed. Get that estimate, and then based on how much money you could raise, you can structure it in a way to raise a couple more bucks, right? More importantly, it just stirs up conversations of all the other opportunities of, here's what I'm doing, here's how I'm doing it. I can't tell you how many new people, like actually what happened in this deal, somebody who had only put 400 grand with me about a year ago. Never talked to them before. Don't know them at all. They put 400 grand with me a year ago, and they came in, they said, hey, can we hop on a phone call? I said, yeah, let's hop on a phone call. They said, we make a boatload of money in a government contracting business, and I'm a full-time real estate professional. I desperately need depreciation, and we've been looking, they're out of California, and we've been looking for somebody like you to deploy money with, and on a consistent basis. We'll take the whole $3 million tranche. And I got a single person, well, it's him and his partner, to write the full $3 million check, right? Does that happen if I don't send out an email about depreciation? No. But you got to be having these conversations, right? It needs to be something that, how much spam do you get in your inbox, right? If you can get somebody to be like, oh, well, at least let me click on this, let me open it, let me read through it, let me respond or send a text message or an email or a phone call. I can't tell you how many phone calls I've been on in the past 30 days, but it's raised me $7 million and given me a handful of people who can fund a lot more projects going into 2025. And this crazy momentum happened all because I shot out an email about depreciation. So the action step here is send out an email, right? Figure this out of what can you take a property for, right? Kusina, I'm thinking about you on some of these things where like you can easily probably raise a bunch of cash because you have big write-offs in these lofts, right? You know, Patrick, you probably got some properties that you've never even done a cost seg on that are already in your portfolio that you can just, it's insane. And you got too much depreciation, right? And that's like the same boat that I'm in. So the beauty of it is these people desperately need it. We don't even give a shit about it because it just keeps on rolling forward because I can't even use it. And now it creates an instant purpose, a use for something that was previously unusable. And again, more importantly, it creates all this excitement in the conversations that you're having with folks.